Okay, welcome back again. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we are on week 4 now. Now, the last 3 weeks, especially last week, we worked with mental conflicts that discuss basically stuff that's what's actually really holding you back. What's really holding you from being that lion in your life and a tiger just ripping stuff apart and be like, "Rawr, this is how I am. This is how I deserve to live, and this is what it's gonna be like." End of story. you know so it's you're finding out with the mental conflicts that what's actually holding you back, and it's just something, a clutter in the mind. Okay, it's just a clutter in the mind because the reality is much different, and reality is actually a lot easier. The fact, those people who say life is very hard, they're just training themselves to have a difficult life. But those who actually come and say life is easy, life is fun, life is exciting, those are the ones who have easy success because life is actually really good. If you really look at it. Now, here's an example. Here's an example. Let's say you go to a city for the first time, okay? So let's say you end up, let's say you're from the States or you're from the UK and you're like, I'm gonna travel to Mexico, for example. Now you're in Mexico and you're there and you're on nice palm beaches and beautiful, white sand, blue water, friendly atmosphere. Everything is great, and you're just calling back home and telling your friends like, "Oh, this place is so beautiful, so wonderful. I can't wait to come back here again." The food. Oh, the other day I went to the car to get my car from the valet, and the guy just had this wonderful smile. I just really love it here. The weather is amazing. Blah blah blah. Now, if that person or you or anyone stays there for 2 years or 3 years, watch the tone change. Man, I've been here 3 years now. There's so much population here. There's pollution all over the place. It's too damn hot here. I can't believe I'm dealing with all these people. They're always trying to rip me off. The tone has completely changed. Now, has reality changed? That's the question I'm asking you guys. No, the perception of how you see that reality has changed. Now, if you can control how happy you're going to be in that reality, because when you were there initially, you were amazingly happy. And then later down the line, all you saw was the bad parts. Okay? Because it's a choice. It's all a choice. And if it's all a choice, it's all in the mind. That will really, really help you get through the conflicts in your brain. Just identifying how you speak, how you act, how you live will change the way your outcome of the quality of life will just change dramatically. Okay? So this week we're going to be talking about winner's identity. Now, what is winner's identity? Okay, if I was to ask you who you are, what would you say? What if I was to ask you, tell me one quality of yourself where it's unparalleled amazing? When I say, okay, if your name is Bob, I'm like, Bob, what's your best quality? And you're like, my best quality is blah, blah, blah. And I am really, really good at that, and I will die for it. Okay? So, what's your quality? Are you an amazing cook? Are you an amazing father or mother where you feel so proud of it that this is who I am? This is what I'm proud of. Like, this is my identity. I strive to be better every single day. Are you a good trader? Okay, you've made 8 million last year and you're like, I'm going for 10 this year. The year before was 4 and the year before was 2. Now you have an identity. You have an identity. You are developing a certain skill level, but you're setting standards. Now, this comes at the next level of habits. Okay, one thing is habits, and then the next thing is identity. This is like raising the bar from habits and saying, you know what? This is who I am. Now, I'm gonna explain some things I personally do, and we'll go into more examples how athletes and Olympics and celebrity chefs and all them and how they do stuff. Okay, so a couple things. For me, I need productive output. Okay, That's an identity thing for me. I don't care how much I work, whether I work 8 hours a day or 50 hours a day. Okay, even though there's no 50 hours in a day. But what I'm trying to say is, doesn't matter how many hours I work in a day. I measure basically based on productive output. What did I actually do? I don't care if I was sitting there working. What did I do? Okay, what's the result? What's the end result? I don't care how many conflicts throughout the day there was. What's the end result? I look at myself like that crazy boss, you know? You know that boss that says, "Okay, what'd you do today?" And then you're like, I came in and then the coffee fell on me and then the manager asked me for this thing to do and I did that thing and the boss is like, "Did you do the work I asked you to do?" Yes, I was trying to, but then this and this and this and then that and the boss is just sitting there rolling his eyes and he's like, "Did you do the thing I asked you to do?" That is an identity thing. Okay? If you treat yourself as that crazy boss by saying, "Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get this, and this done." And once you set that foot down and says, "I don't care what happens. I don't care what the world throws at me. I don't care if there's a hurricane outside. I'm going to get this thing done." You're building an identity. This is who I am. I'm not going to quit until this is done. You know, people with a strong identity, you know, for example, people with a strong work ethic identity, for example, when they're working, the way they work is, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to give myself 3 hours to do this project. So they're working on a project. Now it's 3 hours and 5 minutes. They're looking at this and they're like, "Oh no, I'm going to keep going. I was estimating it to be 3 hours, but I got to keep going. I can feel it. I'm almost there." Now watch that attitude of that individual, right? That's how he talks. I'm going to give you the same project to a normal individual who does not have an identity. He works 3 hours, and as soon as the 3 hours are up, he's going to stand up and be like, "Well, I've been working for 3 hours. According to the internet, I need to take a break. It's not healthy. I need to do this. I need to do that." He's going to come up with 5 million excuses to stop working. Put your butt down, get back to work. Finish it. If you said 3 hours is good, that means your brain knows you can last 3 hours long. Okay, I'm not saying put unrealistic goals like I'm going to work 10 hours nonstop. No. You know, get to work. Put it down. Make an identity. The way I do things is I like to earn my meals in a day. Okay, if I don't feel I've been productive between breakfast and lunch, I prolong my lunch till later. I have to earn my lunch for me to eat it. If I do, and I do the same between lunch and dinner, I need to feel I earned my dinner, and then I repeat this whole cycle at the end of the night, and I have to feel that I earned my sleep. This way, I go to sleep like a baby. I go to sleep like a winner. I go to sleep thinking that I did what I said I was gonna do. This makes you sleep very calmly and you wake up very fresh without a nagging alarm. Okay? Because you feel you have control over your life. Okay? This is my personal thing. You can make your own cocktail of how you want to make your identity. So some people have strong identities with many things. You know, I have a strong identity for being the best neighbor, and you organize events in your neighborhood, and you know you're the person who brings the cakes and stuff to the newcomers and make sure that you know everyone's children are safe and you know bring them to school and stuff like that. You might have an identity like that I strive to be the best. Create identities for yourself that basically says this is who you are. If you have to publicly say it out loud, okay? Social media, that this is who I am, this is what I'm gonna do. What that's gonna do is that's gonna put social pressure on you. Okay? Don't be afraid to fail. There's gonna be naysayers all the time. They're gonna go, "Oh, didn't you say you were gonna do this? But you're not doing it." That's social pressure. That's gonna help you to be like, "You're right. It's freaking embarrassing. Let's get back to work." Okay? So social pressure actually helps. But building identities is probably the number one thing to do. Once you build habits, you can start building identities. And the best way to know if you have an identity is ask a third person. Ask a third person, and when you ask them, "Hey, what do you think I'm good at?" See what they say. Some people might say, oh man, you don't take no for an answer. Oh man, your identity is like when there's an argument, you come out winning. This is common for actually my family, women in my family, and my girlfriend. It's like, so they always win no matter what. They will not stop. Okay? That's an identity. That's an identity. You have to win. Now, there's another thing is some people their identity is getting the bargain that they wanted. They will not stop until they negotiate the brains out of the store vendor. Okay? They want to feel like they won. Okay? And they will do that. Now, a third person might look at that and be like, what's wrong with him? It's only $10. Like, big deal. Like, why is he nagging the hell out of that guy? It's just $10. It's not about the $10 for that individual who's got that identity. For him or her, it's about, I need to feel like I won. They want to actually try, and they'll go beyond the aspect of, I wonder what the store vendor thinks about me. I wonder what society will think about me. They don't care. They just go in and they do it. Okay? Now, this thing, when it comes to identities, many things can be looked down upon according to society because that's mental conflict. That's mental conflict. If you go out to work and you are in your zest of life and you're in your work environment, and as you do well, you get up and say, woohoo! But some people can't do that. They got mental conflict because in their brain, they're like, I can't do that. What will people think of me? People think I'm a weirdo. This and that. So much mental conflict. But the other guy who's just full of life, he's just screaming out, woohoo, I did it. Now, people take notice of these things. They might call you crazy for a while. Your boss will take a notice of these things. Your life will change. Your life will change. Your confidence increases. Everything increases. Okay? So take control of who you are in the comments below. Now, since this is trading related, now in case this is not trading related for some of you guys, okay, I want you guys to tell me what your identity is. If it is trading related, tell me what your identity. What is it about trading that makes you special? Do you just love strategies? Do you like know ins and outs of every strategy? Do you love trading courses? Do you know a lot about education and what's a candlestick? What is this? What is that? You know a lot of information. You just like to gobble it all up. What's your identity? What do you love to absolutely do when it comes to trading? And if you can't think of one by now, you need to create one. You need to create an identity. What kind of trader are you? A short-term trader? A long-term trader? Swing trader? Day trader? Lower time frame trader? Higher time frame trader? A scalper? What are you? What's your identity? What do you do best? What do you strive for again and again? Once you have an identity, you actually work towards a goal. You actually work towards doing something better. Okay? So work on thinking about what's your identity. Okay? Because identity basically is going to be how you perform going forward. Okay? A lot of when you start to change your identity initially, I'm going to tell you this from my own experience, your surroundings will weigh you down. Okay? When you decide to make a change in your life and to make a shift, other people don't like changes. Just like your own body doesn't like changes, somebody else around you is like, what is wrong with you? They don't like changes either because their body doesn't like changes, so that's perfectly normal. Accept that. It's okay. But there are going to be naysayers out there. There's going to be people looking at you like you're crazy. Create your identity. It is the only way out. It is the only way out. So your surroundings can have an impact on you. What you do with that impact is up to you. How you deal with it. The more positively you deal with it, the better control you're going to have on life. If you get into it in a negative argument saying, I'm just trying to make a better version of myself. Why are you stopping me from doing this? Blah, blah, blah. You get into that sort of an argument, you're going to feel negative the rest of the day. And you can sit there blaming that individual or that society or the external factor all you want. But remember in the beginning what we talked about. If something like that happens, that means the remote control of your life is not in your hands. someone else will control how you feel, how do you get upset, how you get happy, but you have no control on that. Take back the control, and the more buttons you add on it, which is identity, the better you can tune into your life. Okay? So full speed ahead. Create an identity. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to strive for, what you're going to do best as well. Okay? I look forward to seeing your progresses in terms of identities. I will see you guys next week.